U.S. President Joe Biden has threatened to impose new sanctions on Myanmar after the military detained the civilian leaders of its government. He said the U.S. had removed sanctions on Myanmar, referred to in the statement as Burma, over the past decade after its transition to democracy. But Washington will not hesitate to restore those measures if that transition is reversed. Mr. Biden added that the U.S. will stand up for democracy wherever it is under attack and that force should never seek to overrule the people's will or attempt to erase a credible election outcome under a democracy. Mr. Biden's statement comes just a day after the White House warned that action will be taken if Myanmar's civilian leaders are not released. An official says his administration has launched high-level discussions for a whole-of-government response and will consult with Congress on their next steps.
I think it's a message to all countries in the region and countries who, will be asked to respond or to consider what the appropriate response will be in reaction to the events that have happened over the past couple of days.
Simon Marks in Washington, D.C. has more on why Mr. Biden is taking such a tough stance against Myanmar.
There was an intriguing line contained in Joe Biden's statement. He said that the United States is taking note of those who stand with the people of Burma, as the statement referred to Myanmar throughout. It's taking note of those who stand with the people of Burma in this difficult hour. And Jen Psaki, his press secretary at the White House there, was asked whether that was a hidden message to China. And as you heard, she insisted that it was a message to all countries in the region and an indication that decisions have to be made now that may have to be defended at a later date. Joe Biden in his statement indicated that it may well be that the United States returns to a fresh imposition of sanctions against the Myanmar military as a result of the events of the last couple of days. Bear in mind that his administration was about to begin a process of determining whether genocide had been committed by Aung San Suu Kyi and others in Myanmar against the Rohingya Muslims. So this is a very complicated thicket in which the United States' new presidential administration finds itself. And there is, of course, every possibility that with the US taking a much tougher line towards what has happened in Myanmar versus, for example, China, it is going to further complicate the nascent relationship that needs to be built between Joe Biden's presidency and President Xi Jinping. President Biden has not spoken personally about this. All we've had from him today is the statement and also an acceptance by some officials in the US government that at a time when Washington itself is recovering from an attempt by supporters of the previous president, Donald Trump, to subvert the outcome of a democratic election right here in the United States, it's skating on slightly thinner ice than it would like to be skating on in taking issue with what's taken place in Myanmar. But the Biden administration is very keen for the United States to re-establish itself as a beacon for democracy on the world stage.